I also have my... Okay, great. Anyway.
Linda and June are in the next car. They arrived at the same time as us, and I kept seeing them.
These fit perfectly in this. I was like, oh damn, nice. Hi guys, so I thought I would do my first crochet vlog, basically following me while doing mainly some crochet projects. And I thought we'd start out with, we're actually going to be doing some lasering, we're just setting up. And because we're planning on doing some bases for baskets, trying it out, been making some files. I'll just show you the files. So I made these files the other day. So basically a base for a basket. Obviously you can use something else if you want to, but that's kind of the point of it. I made a couple of different sizes and then we're just going to try them out. One, to see if the files work, but two, obviously to see if the design is right and they're usable. So that's what we're doing. And I thought I'd just take you along and then who knows what else we're going to be doing. So this is the laser. Got laptop out, glasses and stuff. And we just need to get the wood. Husband's just gone up and get that. And then gotta start cutting and hope everything works and works out to be usable. And we now have the wood. So let's get lasering. Right, so we're going to do the first test run. Fingers crossed.
A few moments later.
So it's done cutting the first one. It looks pretty good, but I guess we'll have to take it up and see how it actually looks. I will say, that's worked out pretty well. First try. It's quite rare. But yeah, obviously it's pretty big, but I wanted to make them so you could make them big, but also make them different sizes. I also made 3 different versions of the size of the holes, so again, kind of make them how you want to. So that's the very first one. Now this one can be used. Now I just need to find some yarn to use for it, and that could be quite chunky yarn because obviously the holes are pretty big, so interesting. Could get addicted to this. So we finished the laser session for the day, and I thought we'd just update you what we ended up with. We did some other stuff, but just for these basket bases. These are the ones, they're just obviously initial tests. So we made the biggest ones first, basically the size that I actually designed them in. I kind of thought it would be nice to have them be able to be different sizes. So I did make some different size holes as well, obviously larger ones, medium ones, and then small ones. So I'm going to adjust the small one a little bit, I figured out, and then also these two, I want to make a size in between them, because it's actually quite a big jump. It's almost, the biggest one is almost twice the size of the medium. I actually want to make another version just in between them to have obviously more varieties. So I'm going to need to do that. And then we also made some smaller versions of the same files just to see how they would turn out. This one is the biggest one, obviously smaller, which means the holes also get smaller. But they actually turned out to be still quite a nice size, and obviously the actual base itself is smaller, about half the size of the big ones. And then these ones are the medium size that then pretty much turn into the size holes of the small ones. So actually that worked out quite well as well. But obviously I'm going to do an in-between size here, so that's going to kind of also affect the other sizes. So that was just the initial test, so there's a little bit of work to do now. I'm going to just edit that one a little bit. I might make the holes just a tiny bit larger so they also take up a bit more space. There's less space in between them, but also less space between them and the edge like the other ones, and then also make that extra one that's in between these two here. So gotta get that done, and then we obviously gonna see about trying to make some more. So pretty pleased with that. It actually worked out really nicely and easily and pretty quickly, which is a bit unusual. Usually we have more trouble with it before getting things right, but this was pretty much instantly pretty good, so that's nice and refreshing. Anyway, that's the initial little test. Now might as well use some of them to see about making some baskets. That was the original thought anyway. So obviously I just gotta also figure out what yarn I want to use. But again, that was my whole point of doing different size holes, was also to use for different kinds and thicknesses of yarn, and obviously different sizes of the bases. So yeah. So I thought I would just have a little look at some of the yarn I was thinking about using for those basket bases. Now I do have some in my bag boxes that I kind of want to look through, but right now I can't be asked, so I'm just going to see if I have anything on my shelves. I have 2 things in mind, so let's have a look. So first of all, there's this one, obvious one, kind of like t-shirt yarn, but it's ribbon from Hobby, Friends ribbon, in this lovely purple colour. So that's an obvious one. I have 3 of this one, I'm pretty sure. 2 here, but I'm pretty sure I have another one somewhere. Because obviously whatever yarn I want to use, I do also want to make sure that I have enough of it, especially for the bigger bases, because they're going to use a fair bit, I think. I do want to make them quite tall as well. Actually, what I was thinking as well that I want to see about using at least one of them for is I actually could really use some kind of basket. Well, rather, I need some storage for, say, yarn scraps. And I don't mean like little cut-offs, I mean where you have part of, say, one skein left from a bigger project that you made. Like, for instance, this. I finished my hooded scarf and I have this left as the only thing. Now, don't get me wrong, this can be used for something, but that's the whole point. But I don't feel like it should still be on the shelf here because I only have this little thing left. But something like this could then go in a basket like that. And that basket could then be on a shelf or something. That is what I was thinking. And then if I'm having that in mind, I want the basket to look nice. Ideally, hopefully. But kind of be my style and something that I would like to have out. So, obviously, that's purple. Not that. The ribbon yarn. So, that is one option. And hope that I would have enough. The other option is I remembered that I have some rainbow yarn, basically multicolored, that is on the thicker side. So let me just show you. Up here I have several different ones, but obviously with it being like the larger ones, I was thinking more these ones because these are the chunkiest ones I have. And they are also called XL. Merry-go-round from Stylecraft. And I just love this kind of stuff, all the multicolored. So I was thinking maybe that one would be quite ideal for one of the bases with the larger holes. Maybe not the largest, but maybe the medium or something. I have 4 of those. So again, the question will be a little bit, do I have enough? Because obviously the thicker the yarn is, the less length you get per ball. So that is the question, because obviously I do want to make sure that I have enough. So I'm leaning towards this just because I'm picturing like how this would end up looking. Obviously you don't know until you do it. But just picturing how the basket would end up and what I would want to like have out on a shelf or something. I'm just leaning towards this. Oh, this is actually, I like when yarn balls, or companies rather, do this. Show like an image of how it is worked up. But obviously it'll be different depending how you use it. I was also thinking about using a little bit of a different stitch rather than just a plain single crochet or double crochet or something. Just make it a little bit different, and that would obviously make it look different. So I am leaning towards this, I will be honest. It's only thing is if I have enough of it. I do have 4, so part of me thinks, yeah, I have plenty. They are the same, by the way. They're just starting at different colour points. But at the same time, like I said, it's also, because it's thicker, there's less on a ball. And obviously with me wanting the basket to be pretty large is, will this be enough? Because this is all I have. Obviously you can always buy more, but I'm kind of in a situation where I don't want it and I can't really do that right now. So I kind of gotta just use what I have. So yeah, I think I'm gonna bring these downstairs because the bases are still downstairs, and also just have a look at what hook I'm gonna use. Obviously get the hook out, see if the hook will fit through the holes in the base, and I guess just give it a little try, a play around or something like that. Just get an impression if this is then what I want, or I want to try maybe them instead. Although I really do want like just a really colourful basket out on my shelf. I think I'm going to try these. Right, so I've got the yarn here. I don't know why, but I have a sneaking feeling that the 4 skeins aren't going to be enough, but I'm going to try it anyway, see how far I get. I did just have a look on Amazon and Google, and it kind of seems like it's a little bit hard to get hold of now, so even if I wanted to, it doesn't seem easy, if possible at all, to get more if I need to. But we'll see what happens. But this says to use a 10mm hook, which is very big. Now it is chunky, but still I was like, this seems a little too big, I think. So I tested out with, this is actually a 5mm, I thought it was a 6, but it's a 5mm. And the way it feels like it's picking it, or gripping it, I actually think seems quite good. So I'm going to try it with a 5mm instead of a 10. 10, that seems like it would get very loose, but Anyway, that's what I'm going to try. I do want a nice and tight stitch because obviously it's supposed to be a basket, so it should be as solid as possible. So now I'm just going to choose the base. I'm thinking these holes are too large, just a bit too large. I think there should be chunkier yarn for that. So I'm thinking I'm going to do the medium one for now, and also just test I didn't do that yet. Yeah, the hook does go through. So basically I'm going to start first of all attaching this all the way around. I do have a very strong feeling this is not enough, but it is what it is. I really just want to try. So put them away, try and find some other yarn for the other ones, and then crack on. I'm sure even though
Who was there? Let me show you. There's man? Yeah. $54. 57.
But it wasn't where the family was living at the time. They were renovating another part of it, and there was that outdoor shed area.
Place in the back like this. Tighten up.
A search break.
So the island is in that. The end is in that bag?
Yes, sir.
Is that the island?
Yes, sir. Right, so I now made it all the way around here. I really like how it looks with these colours. I really quite like using the yarn, so I'm going to be sad if I can't get any more of it. Even if I have enough for this, I would still want more because I'm quite liking it. I would definitely use it for more baskets, bags and things like that. Anyway, that's for the future. For now, like I said, I've made it all the way around. So this is the base, so the bottom of the base. And I've kind of pushed all the stitches in towards what's going to be the inside of the basket, and then I'm going to basically be working on the outside, so the outside or the front of the stitches is obviously facing out. It's the part that you can see. So yeah, so now basically I'm just going to start building up the sides and see how far I can get with the yarn I have. Oh yeah, by the way as well, I did end up adding 2 stitches in each loop because I did know 1 stitch in each loop wouldn't be quite enough. It'd be too spacey or gappy. But I actually started trying 2 stitches in one loop, 1 in the next, 2, 1, and alternate like that a couple of stitches along. But I kind of felt like I could actually fit 2 stitches into each loop. So that's what I ended up doing, and I think it's worked out really well. It does have that extra kind of bunched upness, so it's going to make it tighter along the sides here as I go up. Hopefully it's going to help with that. So obviously just because you have these loops on the base, you don't have to just put 1 stitch per loop. You can put multiples in each, or you can alternate between the amount. It all depends on the project and the yarn using, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna carry on now. Right guys, so I just finished my first skein, and it's basically a little bit like I suspected. This is how far I've got. So if we times this by 4, so I guess with this it will have some height, but I don't know, maybe not as much as I was envisioning. Maybe I'm also overthinking it, and maybe it will be higher than I actually think it will be. Because then, like I said, I have 3 left. So yeah, I guess I just gotta carry on. So yeah, this is the first skein. I do really love the way it's looking though. I'm glad I chose this stitch. Definitely think that's really cool how it's turning out with that color changing yarn as well, rather than just say basic single crochet or double crochet. I really like the effect of this. Plus it feels really nice. It's really thick but like squishy and bouncy at the same time, and obviously because it's a basket you want it to be quite solid. Even though it's still soft and yarn, you still kind of want it to be pretty stable and sturdy, and this definitely feels like it's going to end up how I was envisioning that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it done, because honestly I am loving this. All the colors, oh yeah, that's just me. So I guess I just gotta get the next one. So second skein down, and I will say it's making good progress. We are definitely getting, I can say a bowl, a basket out of it. Let me show you. So this is it. We are definitely getting some height. But I'm halfway with the skeins that I have, so basically, now you can easily see, double this height. Now, okay, fair enough, it is actually probably going to end up taller than I feared. Maybe not quite as tall as I wanted. It may be actually pretty much bang on what I wanted. It's hard to tell, but might not actually be as bad as I worried amount-wise. So yeah, I am loving the way this looks though. Seriously, look at this. This is just so me. Like this color splash, splash. Just like a chaos of color. And I really like this stitch actually. I need to use that more. I could just, I'm getting actually upset that I couldn't seem to find this yarn online. I could find it, but it seemed that everywhere was out of stock in this specific colorway. Almost as if they stopped doing this colorway. I could find it in the other colorways, but not this specific one, and this is the one I love. Just the rainbow. I love rainbows. And because I could, first of all, okay, let me try and think straight. First of all, we also obviously made some of these basket bases in smaller sizes. This is the biggest one so far. We made smaller sizes, and after this I really want to make some smaller ones but with the same yarn, so there's basically matching set. So I really want to do that, which obviously I can't if I can't get the yarn, but also I want to make a bag with this yarn and this stitch, obviously just a bag base instead. I really want to do that because oh, this is so me. But obviously if I can't get the yarn I can't do any of that. I can finish this and then that's it. So I'm hoping it's maybe a temporary thing, but literally I looked online and everywhere that has it and has it in multiple colorways, this specific colorway was out of stock, but pretty much all the other colorways were in stock. So that seems a bit odd. At first I thought I found it on Amazon, which honestly would be the ideal place because here and there I get vouchers for there. So, but I think it wasn't quite the right one because this is the, well, it's called XL, but then it's called super chunky. Yeah. And I think the one I found on Amazon that I thought at first was the same one, I think was like the size smaller or something. Thinner, maybe. It was a little bit hard to tell, but if it is the correct size, then I'd like to get some of that while I can, but I'm not sure if it is the correct size. It's hard to tell when it's not 100% specific in the information, but anyway, now I'm just, because I'm doing this right now, I'm like kind of very focused on this and like excited about this yarn. I've had it in my stash for several years. Obviously I got it because I love rainbows color, but I guess I didn't really know what to use it for yet. But then now I'm like, I'm super glad I originally got it and kept it for this long, but now I want more of it. And it looks like I might not be able to get it. I hate when that happens. Anyway, so yeah, 2 skeins down. I have 2 left, so we're halfway there. So this is basically the work I got done tonight. That's pretty alright. It is pretty rough on the hands because I am also purposely doing it quite tightly, because obviously to make it more solid and rigid and stuff. So, but it'd be nice maybe if I could finish it tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see. But it is late now. Technically it's early if you want to be specific, but I'm going to see if I'm going to bed. I want to just continue with this because I'm like in the zone, but I also should really go to bed. So I'm going to see about packing up, put the rest of them in my basket, keep them there. Actually, where's my hook? Where did I put my hook? I always lose like hooks and remotes when I put them down. I actually put it on the table. Put that in there and then put this under the stairs so it's out of the way for babies, mainly a certain Mr. Gizmo. Pick it back up tomorrow. So good night. Right, so I think I have pretty much finished the basket. Well, except I'm just going to do one more thing, but I'll talk about that. 1, because I do actually like the height that it's got to, but 2, I don't have any more of the rainbow yarn, and from what I can see, I can't buy it anywhere. So anyway, let me show you. So this is what it looks like. I really love how this looks. Let me just turn some more light on. I really like this stitch with this kind of yarn where it just sorts between colors like this. I actually really like that. Actually, let me just show you. This is how much yarn I have left. I was actually, so before the last 2 rounds up here, obviously all around, I was thinking I had obviously an amount of yarn left, and I was like, Will I be able to do one more round? I'm gonna try instead of just not trying, and then maybe I could have, just to get that more height. And I did manage a round, and then I was like, there was still a bit left. I was like, could I do one more round? I'll try to, okay, let's try and see if I can, because it'd be nice. And then this is what I'm left with. It's almost perfect, literally, man. This obviously will not do another round. That's gonna be way too little. But imagine if I hadn't tried when I was not sure if I was gonna be able to or not, and then I could have done, but I just chose not to try. So I'm glad I tried, because this is actually a really nice height, and I think it would be perfect for what I'm going to use it for. Now, what I then did start thinking is, I feel like I should do something to kind of finish it off, like finish off the edge. It doesn't need it, but I just started thinking, so with obviously not being able to buy more of this, also if I wanted to make it taller, what I then thought I could do was get the same yarn, but just in basic black, which I did manage to find, and then literally just make like an edging. And I have two different ones in mind that I'm just gonna try out, experiment with, and kind of make, obviously so it's black, so it literally goes with all the colors, but also just so hopefully kind of should give like a nice finish and edging all the way around there. So that's what I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna do, and this literally arrived today, so I can actually see about getting that done and see how that's going to look. I think it's going to finish it off just nicely. So yeah, that is the plan. And there's plenty of that in here. It's just basically one round, but it's not even a whole round like this. It's like an edging I'm going to do. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Seriously, the size of this skein is really big. Obviously it's quite chunky as well, but anyway. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to get on with tonight. It shouldn't take too long, I would think, but I'm going to do that while I'm watching Amora Loves Yarn, or just Amora, catching up with her videos. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to turn out. So far, I'm really happy with it.
I've got a ton t-shirt yarn. I don't think I showed this last time. I don't know if it was there. I was probably bags of, projects that I'm not necessarily there with those. Then this yarn at Christmas. Always could be next event. I'm going to come and I'm going to fill your boots again. Okay, but Linda and June are in the next car. They arrived at the same time as us, and I kept seeing them filling the boots as they were going up and down. I would love some samosa. Actually, he fed us a cookie. The man wasn't even expecting, and I got a hook. I was gifted a beautiful. I do a haul. Should I do the haul today? No, it's a lot. I'll tell you the plans. We'll just stick it here. In how coloured it is, so it would need.
Eventually.
So I finished the basket tonight. I was hoping that was going to be the case, and let me show you what it looks like. So basically all I had to do was the edge up here, which I'm actually really pleased with how that's turned out. So I'm trying to show you up close, if we can focus. So it's this really nice decorative edge, and it kind of gives just a really nice shape to it as well, I think. So that's what it looks like. Kind of overhangs a bit, but at the same time just finishes it off nicely, I think. I'm especially glad that it's that black colour, because it just kind of ties it all together. And obviously there's so many colours in there, so a neutral one to kind of contrast it. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I really like working with the chunky yarn as well. I really just want to make a bag with this yarn, but alas, I cannot. But anyway, I'm glad I finished it. I realised I didn't even talk about the base really, which was obviously the whole point of this, that we cut out on the lather first. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Worked really well, especially this size and the size holes for this really chunky yarn. I think it is just perfect. And I also know what I'm going to use this bowl for. I'm going to use it for scrap yarn, because I've actually been wanting something for a while to like store scrap yarn in. So originally I was thinking what I have left here, but this isn't exactly a lot. But I'm not thinking the small ends of scrap yarn, I'm thinking where you kind of have some left, like you can roll in a little ball or something, but still not enough to really do much with it. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to use this for. I just got to find somewhere to put it. So since I've finished my basket now, I kind of thought we would just see about trying to find a place for it. Now the ideal place, it'd be lovely to put it on my drawers that are behind me when I'm sitting at my desk, but I can't do that because I'm planning on using this basket to basically keep scrap yarn in, because I need to find somewhere to store my scrap yarn, because I didn't really have much before. I'm not talking about like little bits and pieces and ends and stuff. I'm talking about when I have something like this, it's not quite an end you cut off, but it's also not really a whole lot to make anything with. that kind of scrap pieces. And I kind of thought making my own basket for it, and obviously I've done that now, so I'm thinking that's what I want to use this for. And also then I'll have it out in my studio. But because of a little boy, I need to have it so he can't get to it, because obviously if there'll be yarn in there, which is the plan, he's gonna chew and eat it, which we can't have. So basically my only option in here are my shelf, and there's one place that's kind of kept popping in my head, but I need to check if it fits. So I guess I gotta do that first, but I also, if it does fit and I'm gonna keep it there, I need to take out what's already on that shelf, and then I'll basically figure out what I'm doing with that, which I don't know right now. But anyway, I guess that's what we're doing. Well, before doing that, to be honest, so we can start to fill it now. So obviously right now it's empty. So I have this from my hooded scarf that I finished. This is literally what I have left of it. I would kind of class this as the same thing. It's not kind of really enough to make a whole lot with, because this is literally it, the colorway. I don't have another skein or anything. This is already kind of rolled up. I don't really feel like it needs to be re-rolled. I could make it a round skein, but it's fine. So I'm putting that in there, and then I have this. So these are the two kind of scraps I currently have, but obviously I presume I'm going to get more over time. So I was thinking just have this in my studio, and I can basically just add to it and collect them, because I don't obviously want to get rid of them. Like, they're still usable yarn, they're just not like usually enough for a whole project. So maybe eventually get enough together to make some kind of scrap project. That's what I was thinking. But this one definitely needs re-rolling. I don't have a yarn winder. I do have the part that holds a skein, but I don't have an actual yarn winder, which, to be honest, this wouldn't be a skein anyway. Anyway, I could use the yarn winder, but I don't have one yet. We'll get one at some point, hopefully. Wait, let me just think about this. Am I doing it from the inside or the outside? Maybe I should do it from the inside. Put it on the floor and hope no one comes and starts chewing. Right, so basically I'm just going to use my hands, which I find pretty easy anyway, and they usually get pretty nice bowls. So I guess it's the way I do it. I normally just use about 3 fingers or so. I hold on to the tail and just start to wrap around and do that until I feel like I have a good chunk on there. Yeah, so basically start it off like this. The goal is just to get it somewhat manageable, get it in that basket. So obviously when I'm adding stuff, I don't want it to get all tangled up in there either. Yeah, I'd say something like this. That's probably pretty good. And then I just take it off, keep hold of it, and then flatten it down so where I have my fingers is there. And then I start to wrap around the middle part. Almost a bit like you would make a tassel, I guess, really. And literally start wrapping that middle part, building that up until the shape gets bigger there. And then eventually, making sure I'm going kind of back and forth in the middle, but then eventually I will then start to basically move this around as I keep wrapping with this, which I think I can pretty much start doing now. So we're at this point a nice little chunk of yarn, and then I literally just, I usually like to put one finger on one side and then the thumb on the other side, and I keep hold of that for a while, and then I start to wrap this around while I'm gradually and slowly rotating the ball here in my hand. And I kind of do it up to my thumb. I'll try and get it in focus a little bit. So I kind of do it up to my thumb and use that as a guide, and you can do that on the other side as well. The other side I do tend to move my finger just to kind of reposition it, but as I rotate it, I just keep my finger there. Now it's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, honestly, but I'm then making it around to the other side, and you see it's still kind of a wonky shape, but I can fill it up so we can kind of wrap around this side a bit more to bulk it out a bit. We can get it a little bit more to that rounded shape, and then I just keep going gradually and slowly rotating it until I feel like this shape is getting a little bit bulky in the other direction, usually where you're then holding your fingers. And then once that is the case, you literally just want to pick somewhere else. So for instance, this seems a bit more flat on my shape, so I'm going to put my fingers on either side of that instead, and then just pick back up wrapping there, and again literally just rotate it slowly and gradually as I'm wrapping. And then obviously, depending how much you got, it'll grow and become bigger and bigger, and it can get pretty nicely round eventually. I'm just going to be doing this until I've wound up this leftover yarn and hopefully get a pretty nice roundish ball.
A few moments later.
So I finished the ball and this is what it looks like. So a nice little chunk there. Let's add it into the basket with the other one. So looking a little empty, but it's a good thing if you don't waste too much with your projects. But anyway, I'm sure that'll get filled up. So it's ready. I'm gonna see about, first of all, see if it'll fit on that shelf, because if it doesn't, then obviously I need to figure out then what.
Okay, step over there. Step away from her. Step away from her. I'm sorry. Don't leave. Put pressure on that. All right, hold on.
So it appears like it fits just, and it's a bit of squeeze, but it was mostly for base fits obviously, because that can't be like condensed a little bit like the rest of it, but it's good enough. So let's put it in. So yes, I had a feeling it was going to be just like that, so super. Right, so I guess that's done now. I just gotta find somewhere to put this other stuff that I took off the shelf. Anyway, so that'll be nice, because also it's a nice pop of colour. I love having just colour on shells and stuff like that. So, and there's just a gap at the top, so it'll be easy to put stuff into it or take stuff out without having to take the whole thing out, although that's not too hard anyway. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Feeling a little productive and getting some things done, and what you've made and finished making, actually put it to use. It's always nice. Other than that, I've also just finished filming a video, just a little haul, not a fairly big haul to be fair, of just a collection of mostly yarn, but also a few other things. So obviously that's filmed. I've got to edit it, which always takes forever. So I've done that as well. It's kind of quite warm, so probably because all the lights are on, but anyway. So yeah, it's been pretty productive. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, but it is getting to food time, so. Otherwise, I feel pretty much ready to start my next wearable crochet project. So I'm going to maybe show a little bit here and there, but I'm not going to show too much in this video particularly, because I will be doing a separate video of that whole process like I did on my first wearable crochet piece. So I'll be filming that separately. Just to make you aware, it's going to be using this sketch that I made of the idea for it. So yeah, I've really been itching to get going with that as well. So also just working on something else. I've never worked with that kind of yarn, so I'm looking forward to that. So I am currently in my studio, and it's not too bad. It's a little bit of a mess. And also I cleared the coffee table yesterday, where I had a lot of stuff that shouldn't be there, and I brought that up here, so it's a little messy stuff. Like I had a bunch of hooks, I had some accessories, and then up here, this wasn't down there, but this is messy. So I'm not like planning on doing like a full clean out or clear out, tidy, whatever you want to call it. But what I do actually feel like doing is kind of start to clear out a drawer of mine, kind of a messy drawer. It's not kind of crap that's in there, not at all. It's a bunch of, there's actually a bunch of crochet and knitting related stuff that I've accumulated. There's also art stuff, but it's all just shoved in there and the drawer barely closes. So what I actually would really like to do is clear that out, kind of sort all that out, organize it all, and then use that drawer for crochet, mainly crochet, but crochet and knitting things. So obviously hooks and stuff like that, but also accessories, because all of that stuff is a little bit scattered. I've never really, since I started crocheting, found somewhere proper to store that. So I want to create it. But that means that drawing is clearing out and organizing, because I ain't got no space anywhere else. Plus I'm sick of it being a mess in that drawer, because I just kind of forget what's in there, and it's just stuffed with things that I forget that I have. And it's just stuffed with things, and it's kind of just like, just keep it closed kind of thing. So I actually want to start using some of it, remember what I have, and also get more organized with all my crochet mainly things, tools, accessories, stuff like that, and actually know where everything is. So that's the main goal. Now, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to fully do the whole drawer today, but at least I want to get it started, because I do know some of the stuff in there should really just be going into some of my artwork drawers, So it's like, that shouldn't be too hard to just at least do that. And then obviously some of the stuff is crochet and knitting stuff, so that kind of needs to stay in there, but I want it to be organized. So yeah, let me show you the drawer. So it's over here. These two drawers, so sets of drawers, are behind me. I have my guitar, so that just needs moving a little bit, because otherwise I won't be able to open the drawer very much. So you sit there for now. Right. Might have to move them, but we'll see. So it is this drawer here, and you can already see it's like either wanted to just kind of burst out or to try and do it so I can't open the drawer. So yeah, and the first things here are already crochet and knitting stuff. I was like, if that could get properly organized and placed, that would be lovely. So this is basically the situation, as you can see. It's just full. I also have my... Oh, okay, great. Anyway, my blocking mats there. I do want to have them kind of out of the way so they're not just out all the time, but I would like to have them accessible. But I kind of feel like a drawer like that is not ideal. I might actually want to store them in the warehouse so they're accessible but out of the way, because I don't plan on like using them all the time, but I just want to have them for when I need them. But look how much space they take up with the drawer alone. They don't go all the way down, but there's a huge chunk of space, so I don't think they're gonna stay in there. But there's all this stuff. This is, I'm pretty sure these are like joints to make plushies that are kind of movable. We have other hooks and needles. And again, most of it is like, I forget what I have, so I also kind of forget to use it. Or I look at like new things I want, but it's like, I already have something, but I just forgot I had it, so I'm looking at buying something more, which is ridiculous. I have a bunch of locks for bags and all this kind of stuff. I just really want it to be nice and organized, but it isn't. And then as you can see, there's also quite a lot of like art related stuff. Markers, kind of painting things. Yes, resin things, a lot of molds and stuff. So like I said, a lot of it I actually don't even remember what it is. So I'll have to see about getting stuff out and then try and see if I can think of where to put stuff where it actually would belong. Except obviously all this kind of just needs to go back in, and other crochet and knitting related stuff, but in a more organized fashion. So I guess I should just start basically getting stuff out of there. Ended up emptying the drawer fully. This is what I usually do, is I kind of have a plan. It's like I'm going to do something in stages, do it slowly, and then I start, and then I end up just going full on and just get it done. I guess that's the ADHD kicking in, but yes, that's empty. Everything is on my desk. Yay! So all this here is crochet, obviously, and some stuff on the side. That's crochet and knitting related things. And then here, this stuff is resin stuff. So really just molds, I'm pretty sure, pretty much. So I do have a drawer with resin stuff. That is not ideal either. So that ideally needs organizing in itself. It's the bottom one, but it's not the whole drawer because I have plugs and stuff kind of hidden behind stuff that's on top there. The actual plugs, a big socket thingy, is in the bottom drawer, but the rest of it is resin. So I can't really fit any more of that in there, but I need to get my resin stuff organized somehow, because I do also have a lot of it in the warehouse in boxes and stuff. That is not great. And the rest, which I knew was most of it, is basically art related stuff. So brushes, little canvases. I saw these, which I forgot about. I got, where are the other ones? This. They're not the same, but like little kind of miniature cards, which I thought would be cute to kind of decorate them or customize them. Little miniature ones. Paint them, which I don't really know why, but I had that idea one time. And then this tiny little puzzle, again completely blank, and I kind of thought I was able to basically paint it, decorate it. Anyway, I have a lot of like stencil stuff. I kind of got into that idea at one point and got quite a few of them. So yeah, a lot of different ones. using them, incorporating them in artwork and stuff. Different pens, brushes, like I said. And then also I got a bunch of like wooden things to decorate or customize. So flat things, but also 3D things. And little kind of wood canvases, you could say. Had some fairy or hobbit doors. That was the purpose of decorating them. Some trees. I also know I have some mushrooms somewhere. All of that stuff is basically inspired by Mirabila years ago, and I bought a few different things. I never ended up doing anything with them yet. I will. I do plan on doing that at some point, but it's just been in that drawer since I got them, which is a long time ago. So yeah, this is the state of my desk. Oh, I forgot about this. I'll show you these. I forgot about these completely, that I had them. So these are like little, almost like little parcels. I actually am not sure what's inside. There is something in them. Try and get one out. So they actually even have a little label on them. They're supposed to kind of just look like little parcels that have gotten delivered to you. It seems a little bit weird, but my thought with them was really to use them for like props. So whether it's for like photography or video and stuff like that, and could always customize and paint them or something like that, but even so, just have them look like little parcels and maybe some photography video thing. I think that could be kind of cute, because I do also have like miniature like shopping baskets and shopping carts, so just fun stuff to play around with. They were dirt cheap anyway, so just have a couple of them. So that's what they were originally meant for, and then I put them in the drawer and forgot that I had them. Anyway, oh yeah, I also have over in these two containers there, I also have a lot of crochet and knitting related stuff, mostly crochet, a lot of things like eyes and things like that. So the aim is to also basically get them emptied from that, because there's other stuff in there, which is what they were originally meant for, and then I've just put stuff in on top, because I'm like, ooh, where do I have space when I've got new stuff? So ideally I want to get all that crochet related stuff out of there with that, and then back into that drawer. That is the goal or the plan. So I guess I should get all that out as well, but I think first I'm just going to see about trying to get as much of this as I can, because I have drawers here behind my desk. You can see some there, but I also have some on actual behind the desk, and these are all like my art supplies basically. So I don't know if I can fit all this, but I'll see what I can do.
1 hour later.
So it's a little while later, and I've managed to get all the resin stuff away. Not organized, but they're in the drawer with the other resin stuff. That's the main thing. Then all the art stuff I managed to get in my other drawers, with the art stuff more or less organized as well as it can be, since I'm kind of running out of space everywhere. But anyway, it's good. They were all in that drawer anyway, just a mess. So at least now they're where they're supposed to be, with like things. So I'm left with all the crochet and knit, mostly crochet related stuff. And the pile has grown a bit, let me show you, because I emptied those totes of all the crochet related stuff as well. So this is everything I have out here now. I do have some more stuff in some other places, but I'm just going to focus on this. So yeah, all the stuff that was in that drawer, and then I've gotten out some extra stuff, like I said, a bunch of stuff from over there, which is all mostly accessory stuff. A lot of eyes, which I knew I had a lot of. They were all pretty much just over in those tubs there. And also I found some storage containers that I just realized I felt like I had some somewhere that weren't being used, but I didn't know where they were, and I wasn't sure on which ones they were, and I freaking found them in the warehouse. So I have these that I'm thinking I want to see about using, because just putting this in a drawer is just going to turn right back into a mess anyway. I want to try and organize it a bit within the drawer. So I'm hoping, obviously I can use this, but I'm hoping this will be good enough, because I don't think I have any more. I'm just going to kind of make this work. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now, I guess, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. this is the final result, and I'm really happy with it. So it's not perfect. There's things I feel could be better organization wise, but first of all, compared to how this drawer was before, you saw it. But second of all, how this stuff was before as well, completely not organized at all. Now at least I have it all in the same drawer, and it's somewhat pretty well organized. I'm not sure about these eyes yet. Part of me is like, I actually kind of think it's cool how they fit in that thing like that, but at the same time I'm not sure. I also am pretty positive I have more eyes somewhere, so I might have more eyes than will fit in this anyway, but we'll see. It's like that for now. And then I have my hooks. So these are my favorite hooks that I use by far the most, obviously the most handy. And then there's basically spare hooks, either in case, I don't know, one breaks or I lose one or whatever. I have spare hooks down there. And then I have project bags. There's bag bases. And this is tools basically in the big one. So knitting needles, and both straight ones and round ones. It's like a round set in this as well. And it's Tunisian crochet hooks, and then a couple other miscellaneous tools, just to kind of keep it with tools, I guess. In that one I have most of the stuff. In that smaller one in there is zippers, and then I have a bag of tassels there, some hair ties, some bells, just like some miscellaneous stuff. This is kind of also miscellaneous stuff, but it's mostly organized with clasps and stuff like that mostly, and then some other things like it. A lot of it is basically metal stuff, so hardware you could say, and then a couple of extra things like extra stitch markers, because the main ones I use I have elsewhere, kind of active ones, but in here I have spare ones, some spare needles and stuff. And then down here, I really like these actually. Inside I had these smaller ones. Let me just try and open it. So these were separate ones, little container thingies, and I just started filling them with little small things instead of having it loose or in bags. I hate having a bunch of stuff in little bags. I much prefer something like this. And I didn't really know what to do with this stuff otherwise, other than having them in little bags, like I said, which I hate. But I started putting them in these, and they pretty much fit perfectly. And then when I've done them all, I realized these fit perfectly in this. I was like, oh damn, nice. So yeah, that couldn't be any more perfect. So I'm really pleased with that as well. Yeah, so overall I'm really pleased with this drawer, to be honest. Tied up a bunch of other stuff because of where it already was, so made space in other tubs and stuff for kind of more what it was supposed to be, rather than just stuffing it full of mainly crochet stuff. And there's still some spare space available as well for anything else, which no doubt there will be. I know already that I do have some spare stuff somewhere that my mum sent me. And I also really wanted somewhere to kind of put my project bags, like the spare ones, so I can just, instead of kind of having to look for them and not be sure where they are, I know where they are and I can just go and grab one when I'm starting a new project. So yeah, this is gonna be really good, I think. I'm really happy that I did this, and I'm happy with the result. And it closes easily. Nothing or anything trying to jump out or stopping the drawer from opening. So yeah, nice.